Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about The Naked Gun 2025. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. So, Naked Gun 2025. This is a legacy sequel to the original Naked Gun movies, which are very old movies, started like in the 80s and in the 90s, starring the late great Leslie Nielsen. And these movies, not only are they based off a show, Police Squad, but what these movies are is that they're spoof comedies, but they're not parodies in where it's just a bunch of references thrown on the screen, like some really shitty ones we had like in the 2000s, like Epic Movie, Date Movie, Meet the Spartans. It's not like that. It's more just like, these comedies actually, tried. They put in effort, and it's very like a lot of slaps. From what I remember, what I know, because I never seen these movies, but I know it's like a lot of slapstick, visual gags, stuff like that. But I'll hit the wrong one. But yeah, these movies here were very popular back in the day. The first Naked Gun movie is seen as like a comedy classic. The sequels, not as much, but they're still well liked by the general public. And they're also known for having OJ Simpson. Yeah, he was in these movies. And with Naked Gun 33 and a third, this is rather, a little infamous fact is that this movie came out right before he was, arrested, with murder with his girlfriend Nicole Brown Simpson. So yeah, it's kind of a stain on this movie. And as you know, the new one made a joke about it, like in the first trailer, where they showed a picture of him, and then I assume like his son is just looking at it, just like just not shaking his head no, about like saying something nice to him. So yeah, but the Naked Gun movies are well liked for being goofy, silly comedies. So obviously, Naked Gun 2025, there's brand name recognition. So I will label that as a pro. Another pro is that reviews for this movie are very good, like way better than I ever thought they would be. Because a lot of people naturally had like, I guess, I don't know if I say concerns. They're just more like hesitant. They're just like, oh great, another remake, another reboot. Oh boy, it's probably going to be ass. But then, once reviews start coming in, people are like, oh my gosh, this movie's actually like hella good. This movie is hella funny. And as someone who's seen the movie, yes, I did watch this movie, I will confirm it is hella funny. Definitely, succeeds at being a comedy. But reviews has a 90% critic score. Audience score is a bit lower at 79%, but it's not like super fatal. But the thing is that its cinema score is quite high. It's an A minus. So seems like audiences in general do like this movie. So yeah, critic wise, audience wise, both positive. So I'll label that as a pro. Another pro is the lack of direct competition because comedies are kind of a extinct theatrically. I mean, they're trying to bring them back, and they're making like Hollywood's trying to make like a real effort bringing back theatrical comedies. I mean, especially with this type of comedy, like spoof comedies, they're about to make like a comeback. We're about to get like Scary Movie 6, about to get Spaceballs 2 that was recently announced. So Hollywood's trying its damnedest to bring this genre back to life on the big screen. And but the good news is there's a lack of, other comedies out there. So that gives us an advantage because like it stands out. Really like all three movies this weekend, like it helps that all of them are very different from each other. So that means, none of them are gonna like eat into each other's box office, which is a good thing. Even though they all have to deal with Fantastic Four. But yeah, the lack of comedies out there that gives it an advantage. So I will label that as a pro. Another pro movie stars Liam Neeson as like a Frank Drebin Jr. So Leslie Nielsen's like son in the universe. And Liam Neeson, I've talked about him quite a bit. Going over his track record. He was in movies like Darkman, which is like super underrated, and movies like Schindler's List and Star Wars Episode 1 as Qui-Gon Jinn. And then he was the voice of Aslan in the Chronicles of Narnia movies. And then he was, Ra's al Ghul in the Dark Knight trilogy, specifically Batman Begins. But it was Taken. Taken. That was the movie that changed his career forever. He was typecasted into oblivion with that one, where he was an old man who knew how to kick ass, and that became his career for the next 15 plus years. So, yeah. There's some other movies in here like Clash of the Titans, a movie nobody liked. The other similar movies to Taken, like Unknown, The Gray, it's Taken 2, Nonstop. I forgot he was in Battleship. Battleship. What was that movie? You had him in there. You had Rihanna in there. It was based off a board game. They added aliens. What was going on there? I don't know. Yeah, Nonstop was a big hit. Then after that, things just kind of slid when it came to like his action movies popularity, like Walk Among the Tombstones, Taken 3, Run All Night, Ted 2. This movie right here made me convinced, like, okay, this Naked Gun movie with Liam Neeson, I think it could work maybe. Because in Ted 2, it was one of the funniest moments in that movie was when he went to like the grocery store and he wanted to buy a box of tricks. But, the slogan of tricks, tricks are for kids. So it's like, feels like he was committing like a felony or something by buying a box of tricks. And it was basically a super serious character, but played it like perfectly, where to the point where it was comedic. So that movie right there told me that Liam Neeson, this man can do comedy. Like this man has the skills to do comedy. But he was a cameo in that, so I'm not really counting it. But other movies like The Commuter, Cold Pursuit, then a whole bunch of just movies that nobody gave a damn about. Mark's Honest Thief, Marksman, Blacklight Memory, Marlowe, Retribution, and Saints of in the Land of the Saints. I don't know. Absolution. A lot of nothing action movies that no one saw. But people know who Liam Neeson is, and they know this movie right here is very different to what they're used to. Right? It's like a nice change of pace for him to do something that's not just a generic action movie. Do like a spoof comedy. It's good. It's good when an actor like changes shit like that. It's like I'm glad The Rock is gonna be in a movie where he's not just being himself, like with the Smashing Machine. He's actually gonna try and do something different. I always like to see that. So yeah, Liam Neeson. I guess I'll label. Well, I guess I can mention the rest of the cast too. The main ones, we got Pamela Anderson as like his love interest, and I talked about her recently with Last Showgirl, which is like our big, comeback movie. But yeah, she was very much like a '90s like icon with like Baywatch and everything. And oh yeah, she was in Borat, where I think Borat tried to kidnap her in the movie. So, but yeah, so yeah, Pamela Anderson in here. You got some other notable names. If this thing can like go back, okay. You got Paul Walter Hauser, who was just in Fantastic Four as Mole Man. So I literally got to see him twice in the span of 2 weeks. Yeah, Cody Rhodes from WWE, he's in here. Kind of weird, but like it's not the first time a wrestler's been in a movie. Far from the first time, so it's not that weird. And then we got like some notable people shot in this movie. Seth MacFarlane was a producer for this. It was when Avia Akiva Shafir. I know he made Pop Star, Never Stop Never Stopping, a movie I find super underrated and hella funny as well. But God, this thing is just not cooperating. You know what? Whatever. But we got notable names in here. The main one being Liam Neeson, basically going against type, and I would label that as a pro. Definitely. No, I went too far. Great. Okay. Any other pros? Was preview numbers. I mean, this movie was never gonna have like a big showing in terms of like preview numbers. So 1.6 million. I'm not sure what I can really compare it to. I mean, let's look at what I can compare it to. Can't really compare it to any of these. I guess another summer comedy I can think of recent times. I guess was it No Hard Feelings? I think that's what it was. From 2023 with Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah. Yeah, it was that. So I guess I could use something as a comparison. But yeah, this had a preview number of 2.1 million. So not quite as high, but this is just an original flick, while Naked Gun is like a legacy sequel. So it's not quite the same. But I guess it's preview numbers. I'm not gonna label them as neither a pro or a con. They're just like meh. So I'm gonna say that. Okay, cons though. Okay, with this movie, this being like a good 30 plus years after the last one, that's a long time. And sometimes when it comes to like long wait times between like franchise entries, you're either in one of two camps. You're either in the absence makes the heart grow fonder, or in the out of sight, out of mind camp. And we've had examples of both in the last few years. I mean, this year, for example, a Final Destination Bloodlines that came out 14 years after the last one did spectacular. That was clear. People missed Final Destination on the big screen. But then at the same time, you have trying to remember. I know like 20. Oh, I remember. Um, yeah, Matrix Resurrections, which came out like 18 years after the last Matrix movie. No one gave a damn about that. That thing died a death. And grant that was a part of the HBO Max experiment, but still, did terrible. So, yeah, you could be in one of those two camps. I'm not sure which camp this one's gonna fall into, but I mean, quality wise, it should fall into absence makes the heart grow fonder. But box office wise, I'm not sure. We'll see, but I don't know. Like the uncertainty of making like another franchise installment after like such a long time, yeah, that's always a risk, big risk, because you don't know if people are really going to remember it, all that much. So, yeah, I guess I'll label that as a con, the uncertainty of like long waits between, franchise installments. Let's see, another con I can think of. Um, I guess I can mention comedy on the big screen. Like, say, 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago, comedy was like a big genre. Like, you had a bunch of comedic movies make like 100 million plus. Like, for example, 2014, you had Neighbors, you had 22 Jump Street, both doing hella well financially. I mean, 2020, not 2023, 2013 movies like Identity Thief and The Heat, and then like 2012, you had like Ted, and 2011, you had like Bridesmaids, Hangover Part 2, Horrible Bosses. Summer 2011 was like the time to be alive for R-rated comedies because they were popping off at the box office. But yeah, ever since I'd say 2015 and beyond, things changed a lot. Comedy just kind of died on the big screen. It kind of just, became more, either comedy was like inserted into other genres, like with Deadpool, like superhero comedies, or you know, comedy kind of like became like more seen like on YouTube compared to like the big screen or even like TV. But the big screen comedy kind of fell off like hard, and because of that, whenever like you see like a comedy on the big screen, it doesn't pop off the same. And I mentioned Hollywood's been trying to change that. They've been trying to like, fix that issue, but I'm not sure when or how that issue is going to be truly fixed. I mean, I guess in order to really fix it, you need an influx of really good comedies, but we don't really have that, not yet anyway. So yeah, so comedy's kind of been like in a box office rut, you know, for years. So yeah, that's obviously a thing that's gonna like hold this movie back a little bit. The fact that big screen big screen comedy's been in a box office rut, kind of low key went extinct. So yeah, I'll label that as a con, and I think that's really it. Yeah, yeah, I think that's it. So opening weekend, this is projected to hit 16 million for 3 days. That sounds about right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with, 15 to 18 million. I'm gonna go with that. 15 to 18. You know what? Screw it. 15 to 20 million, wide range. 50. You know what? I'm struggling here. Fuck it. I'm gonna go with 16 million. I'm just gonna stick with that. And it's total. I can see this having legs. I can see this, playing through the rest of August. I really can. Because I think the movie, like the quality of the movie and how it is, I think it's the type of movie it can be like a word of mouth type hit. I really do believe that. So, yeah, I'm going to say 50 to 70 mil. I'm going to go with that. And that's it. So that was Naked Gun 2025. So, one more movie to talk about, a movie that technically came out in one Wednesday, and that movie is Together. So, stay tuned for that. Real soon. But yeah, so that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. You want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage, all previous prediction videos I made this year, the past few years. You want to watch any of them, go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I went over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I believe I talked about The Naked Gun before. Yes, I have. I talked about it once. It was episode 236. I talked about it alongside Bad Boys 4, Bad Boys Ride or Die, The Watchers, TMNT Mutant Mayhem 2, Paw Patrol 3, which I believe has a title, but I can't for the life of me remember what it is. And that's really it. So, so that was the one time I talked about The Naked Gun 2025. So if you want to watch that episode of Canceled or any other ones I've made, it's 250 of them. So you want to binge watch that whole series from beginning to end, I highly suggest you do that. So go do it. And there's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. Yeah. July recap. That'll be next weekend. August recap will be the second weekend of September. So stay tuned for that as well. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, for this year or any other years, you can go right ahead. I guess I can mention my summer recap. I'm not sure there's gonna be a 2 or 3 part recap because some of these movies are kind of like in a gray area where I'm not sure if I should really label them as a hit or a miss. Like I'm not sure. Some are definitely misses, but I don't know. It'll probably just be like a two-parter. Yeah, I think it'll be a two-parter. So yeah, but that'll be like in late September. So that's a long ways out. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos of Man the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.